because she's a black woman, or at least I thought she was. She clearly has black children. So are you saying you don't mind your children growing up in a society where they cannot be taught black history?
And Nicki makes a lot of cash. Not as much as Michael Dell, not quite.
Nicki Minaj has many, many issues that would lead one to believe that those issues are possibly the reason that she's cozying up to MAGA right now.
Nicki don't need to worry about Don. She need to be with damn Don Lynn, and Nicki Minaj needs to be worried about Chris Hansen. She needs to be worried about.
Nicki Minaj is officially in her MAGA era, and the reaction from black celebrities has been loud, public, and not supportive at all. Over the past few weeks, Nicki has gone from dropping hints to making it very clear where she stands politically, and a lot of people in the culture are pushing back. We've seen black celebs speak out, question her choices, and speculate on what made her switch up like this, because Nicki wasn't always like this. During Trump's first term, she was publicly dragging him and calling him evil, and she was even throwing shade at other celebs for jumping on the Trump bandwagon and claimed that could never be her. During a Polestar Live conference in 2020, Nicki was asked about her feelings on Trump, and she responded that she was not gonna jump on Donald Trump bandwagon. I don't like that, Nicki. I get that a lot of people don't like him for obvious reasons, but what stuck with me was the children being taken away from their parents when they came into this country. That really bothered me because I was one of those immigrant children coming to America to flee poverty. But fast forward to now, and Nicki is out here calling herself Trump's #1 fan and claiming he's the best president this country ever had.
Hello guys, I'm with my favorite president, the best president of all time.
And I'm with the queen of rap.
So as you can imagine, the response from other black celebrities has been loud, with many of them publicly calling out Nicki for her hypocrisy and flip-flopping and accusing her of betraying her own fandom, her culture, and her own conscience. So let's break down who responded, what they said, and why this has turned into such a big conversation online. One of the first to call out Nicki was D.L. Hughley back in December after Nicki posted some tweets targeting California Governor Gavin Newsom. Nicki said something about how Governor Newsom doesn't care about healthy children, and that's when DL clapped back saying, Nicki Minaj shouldn't post anything about kids cause her husband can't be within 1,000 feet of one. It ain't Gavin Newsom, it's Chris Hansen she should be worried about. DL was referencing the infamous To Catch a Predator series hosted by Chris Hansen, alluding to the fact that Nicki's brother and husband are both convicted rapists. And then people are also pointing out that Nicki's career was built on an LGBTQ+ fan base, but now she's openly using homophobic language. Reality TV star Tiffany Pollard, also known as New York, spoke on this to TMZ, and she didn't sugarcoat anything. She said Nicki supporting Trump feels like a slap in the face to the LGBTQ+ fans who've been riding for her for years. Tiffany made the point that people still love Nicki's music, but they're not feeling the way she's been talking lately. However, Tiffany wasn't trying to cancel Nicki, and she said maybe Nicki needs to be around more progressive people like rock star Bruce Springsteen.
Nicki, you know, we love her music. I've spoken to her several times, you know. Collectively, I feel like we were a little bit disappointed with her, but I feel like she needs to spend a lot of time with Mr. Bruce Springsteen. She needs to go sit on his lap and let him speak some words of wisdom to her heart. Because somebody got her off track and she needs guidance back home.
Now, this whole controversy over Nicki betraying her LGBTQ fans blew up after Nicki went after Don Lemon, who is openly gay, and used a homophobic slur. But Don Lemon wasn't about to stay quiet either. He clapped back hard, saying Nicki should really be worrying about her own legal status since she still doesn't have her US citizenship.
Disgusting. Look, this is what I'll say to Nicki Minaj. I normally don't respond to things like this, but you know, F it, I'm gonna do it this time. I think Nicki Minaj has made it very clear how she feels about African Americans in this country, where I don't think she's one of them, obviously. And she should, under Trump's rules, she should be deported, because I don't think, reportedly, that she is a legal citizen here. She is undocumented. And so she has shown her disdain for African Americans. So why are you supporting her? Why are you buying her records? She's also supporting, I have lots of gay friends who love Nicki Minaj. Why are you supporting this homophobic, bigoted, ignorant woman?
And then D.L. Hughley jumped back in to back up Don Lemon, and he told Nicki to forget about Don and start worrying about the fact that there are multiple offenders in her own immediate family.
There was a whole scene that unfolded at this church.
Right.
You saw this, right? Nicki Minaj going after Don Lemon, you see this? Like for reporting it?
It was so funny to me. People hate, it's so funny how many on the right hate they hate transgender and gay people more than they do pedophiles. It's amazing to me. Nicki don't need to worry about Don. She need to be with Don Lynn, and Nicki Minaj need to be worried about Chris Hansen.
And it is also being reported that the Carters, especially Beyonce, are done with Nicki. First it was Kanye going MAGA, and now it's Nicki. Beyonce has effectively completely cut her off and is sad that Nicki's legacy has come to this. Everyday crash outs on Twitter and supporting MAGA. And then Dr. Umar also jumped into the conversation. And this is where it got a little deeper. Instead of just clowning Nicki like the others, Umar broke down what he thinks is really going on. And his theory is that MAGA is using Nicki as the new token black conservative woman, especially after Candace Owens started going rogue and went against Trump over certain issues.
I believe that Donald Trump and the conservative movement in this country selected Nicki Minaj because they needed a replacement for Candace Owens. Remember, Candace Owens has fallen out of favor with the Republican Party and the mainstream conservative white agenda because she's now exposing the Zionist control of the conservative movement and of the United States government. In fact, Art, I would argue that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I believe, by the Zionist movement. We're going to distance ourselves from Candace, and this is Donald Trump, the Republican Party, and the mainstream white conservative movement. We got to find another black woman. We got to find another black woman who can compete with Candace Owens nationally and internationally to bring attention away from Candace Owens, who is highlighting the Israeli influence on American politics. And so who better to use than Nicki Minaj?
Umar also said he was shocked seeing Nicki at that Turning Point USA event with Erica Keeker, where she was talking about how teaching black history somehow makes white kids feel less than. Umar pushed back hard on that, saying it's wild to watch Nicki spew that kind of nonsense when she's raising a black child herself.
Correct, but she said something to the effect that it's not just that we tell black children to feel proud of themselves, but it's like we're doing that, and at the same time, we're telling other children not to feel proud of themselves. And so I guess she was alluding to this false narrative that the conservatives are putting out there, that teaching black children black history and teaching white children the true history of America is somehow going to make white children feel bad about themselves. That bothered me because she's a black woman, or at least I thought she was. She clearly has black children. So are you saying you don't mind your children growing up in a society where they cannot be taught black history or the true history of America because some people feel it offends the self-esteem of white children? And this is so hypocritical, Art, because we've been in America 400 years at least under British North American control. And look at how the self-esteem and self-worth and self-value of black children has been and continues to be compromised for the benefit of the white child. And yet you're telling me that to implement a curriculum of corrective history where you're not insulting white people, you're not denigrating white people, you're simply making sure white children understand that the foundation of this country was laid and built and cemented on the genocide of Native Americans and the enslavement of African people. And not just the enslavement of African people, the dehumanization of African
Now, as for why Nicki decided to take this route, Dr. Umar said he's not sure if it's just about the money or if MAGA is holding something over her head. Meanwhile, Lizzo isn't buying that at all. She thinks Nicki is just a straight up sellout who realized joining Trump is more profitable now that her career isn't at its peak. Lizzo even added that she expects we're gonna see more black celebs hop on the MAGA bandwagon once they start losing relevancy. You're about to see an influx of people who see that it is more profitable and more beneficial to join that side. Lizzo said, "You're gonna see it. It already started and it's going to continue." Meanwhile, fans online have their own theories on what happened to Nicki. One user on X wrote, "Nicki Minaj isn't just a sellout, she's bait. This is a transactional performance of coon dancing to draw the dumbass, politically illiterate, racial gatekeeping, coinacious black people who will throw their race under the bus for a crumb on the white master's table. In exchange, she gets a return on her investment of coonery. And then some fans just went full-on roast mode, dragging Nicki by her edges and shading everything from her looks to her family. Someone said, Nicki Minaj is huge AF. Chopped, washed, dropped in the dust, married to a rapist, a cousin of a murderer, MAGA, self-loathing immigrant, and supports Trump. B, pick a struggle, LMAO. And then another user shared a close-up of Nicki's wig from her appearance at Trump's account summit and wrote, oh, you know the gays have abandoned Nicki Minaj, because why can't I see the glue on that stiff-ass wig? Nicki ain't never had a bad install before. She gets with MAGA, and already we're seeing the quality degradation. But let's hear your thoughts on all this. Why do you think Nicki really went MAGA? Is it just for money and protection, or something else? Do you think MAGA is actually using Nicki as a token black conservative, like Dr. Umar said? And do you think Nicki even believes what she's saying, or is she just reading off a script they gave her? Leave your comments down below, and don't miss this next video.